This is what CONMEBOL looks like after 12 games. Brazil and Argentina still to play their game, but this is what the CONMEBOL Confederations looks like. Only 10 teams, and we've had some good games. We've had some really good games where some teams are on the up, some teams are stagnant, and, you know, some teams continue to surge at the top of the table. So CONMEBOL, where we had games last night, and I took my time and I made sure I got a glimpse of 4 games. I didn't watch a Chile game. Didn't watch that one. That one was playing while 2 other games were on, and I'm like, not doing it. Not doing it at all. So let's continue the conversation, and we're going to continue with CONMEBOL, okay? Let's talk about CONMEBOL. And we will also review their month of September and review their month of October in comparison, just like we did for CONCACAF. But I won't be going in depth. It won't take me 45 minutes. It might take me about 20 minutes tops, because we have more to talk about. All right? So let's go to the November 13th games here and get through these matches. And we have some news as well. We have some news that we have to touch on in terms of CONMEBOL, South American Confederation. And this is some people's favorite confederation as well. Let's start with this game, man. Bolivia. Well, no, that's the wrong game. Wrong game. I don't know where's my games, man. Thursday, November 12th. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm looking at 2020. I always do that, man. Why do I always make that mistake? When anytime I'm talking about CONMEBOL, I do that. Don't know why it always happened to me, man. Thursday. So it's been a year now that CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying been going on, and I didn't really pay too much attention to the early stages because of the pandemic and everything, and the Premier League season had just started, and I was like, I can't bother, man. You see what I'm saying? I can't bother. But this time around, I just I couldn't not talk about it. So CONMEBOL, let's go. Let us go. Big game. Bolivia 4, Paraguay 0. What? What a performance by Bolivia. Rodrigo Ramalho in the 21st minute, water goal from distance. Jesus, Lord, help Paraguay. Moises Angulo in the 53rd minute. Victor Abrego in the 84th. And Roberto Fernandez in the 94th minute to give Bolivia a resounding 4-0 victory over Paraguay. So head coach Cesar Farias and his boys were absolutely on fire, man. God damn, give it up to Bolivia. You gotta give it to Bolivia. And we'll get to the October month pretty soon. But after this game, big news came out that manager Eduardo Berizzo of Paraguay has been sacked. Definitely has been sacked. So let's go over to that situation that developed. And the Argentinian has been relieved of his duties as the Paraguayan manager. News: Paraguay fire head coach Eduardo Berizzo after 4-0 loss to Bolivia World Cup qualifiers, right? And the thing about Paraguay, right? Let's just go back to this right now. Paraguay weren't doing too bad. They got 12 points. They weren't too... And I think they expected a 3 points against Bolivia. They would have went up, to 15 points. But look, Bolivia right now ahead of Paraguay. You got to keep an eye on Bolivia and Chile right now. They're coming up. They're on the come up, guys. They're on the come up, man. They're creeping on the come up. So, look. Just to get back, just wanted to show you guys the table right there. Big win for Bolivia over Paraguay there. And I actually thought I shared a page there, yeah, I should have did that. I don't know what happened. But Eduardo Berizzo, let's go. News, quick news right there. Pretty small. Let's make that a lot bigger than that. All right. Paraguay fire head coach Eduardo Berizzo after 4-0 loss to Bolivia at World Cup qualifiers. Thursday's loss in the South American World Cup qualifiers sealed the fate of Eduardo Berizzo, who was dismissed as the head coach of Paraguay team just after hours of the loss to Bolivia in La Paz, right? This is from republicworld.com. Thursday's loss in the South American World Cup qualifiers sealed the fate of Eduardo Berizzo. Blah, 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 blah. I read that already. La Albiroja. The Albiroja. All right, let me go back there. La Albi, it's like Albi Celeste, right? Yeah. La Albiroja began the triple round of the South American World Cup qualifiers with an encouraging draw against Argentina, where the freaking goalkeeper was absolutely amazing, right? But fell 2-0 on their visit to Chile. The future of Eduardo Berizzo, 51, then seemed to depend on the result he obtained against Bolivia and La Paz. The 4-0 setback effectively sealed the fate, right? In a match which Paraguay was about to equalize the score but missed the penalty, Antonio Sanabria's penalty. Paraguay fell to the 8th position, being surpassed by Bolivia as a result. A lot of these articles are definitely translated, so that's why it sounds so weird. Sounds really weird when you're reading it. But it's not actually a real English article. It's actually, see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, let's go all the way back to the website here. And we're going to get the games that, we were just talking about. Let me get that on screen. I don't have any other, I have a few more things to talk about, but I'll go through those when I'm done going through each and every fixture, okay? So let's get back to this one. We're done with the Bolivia-Paraguay game, so we could scroll down. Colombia 0, Ecuador 0. This game was very, very controversial towards the end, where we had Yerry Mina scoring a goal, pulling out the dance moves, and just going crazy, just going berserk with the celebration. And it was all for nothing. Definitely all for nothing, man. Because VAR did go back and I think they found that he hands the ball. Ecuador did get a penalty and they found out that was before the Jeremina goal. They found out that it was actually offside. So I don't know why Colombia were actually going, nuts about. And the thing about the South American football, they just don't give the refs a break, man. They gotta give the refs a break. Big up to the boy Thriller, man. How are you doing? They have to give the refs a break. They're always hounding the refs. And I'm saying to myself, I feel sorry for these refs, because if they make a decision that is deemed not fair by the public, that referee safety is, is definitely in jeopardy. And they need to chill. They got to chill in South America with that hounding the ref, man. And VAR got it right. Just imagine the scenes if VAR wasn't even in South America, man. There would have been so many dodgy decisions. But with VAR, a lot of those decisions are on point because they actually catch them. I'm not saying all decisions are on point, because I think in that game, what's his name? The defensive midfielder, Wilmar Barrios, should have maybe got sent off for a tackle. They didn't spot that. So a lot of decisions, not all decisions they're going to get right. But it's very important that CONMEBOL has VAR, and it has been helping a lot. It has been helping, and VAR is very important, especially for high stakes games like this. Very, very important. I think that's where CONCACAF and the African Confederation missed the trick there. Asia has VAR, CONMEBOL has VAR, and UEFA, of course, has it. I don't know if Oceania has it, but the other confederations right now has it, with the exception of Africa and CONCACAF. So, look, Ecuador, I think, it was very good to go to Colombia and actually pick up a draw after smashing them in the previous round. I think it was 6-1. So that's a great point for Ecuador. Great point there. Great point. And with that point, Ecuador actually solidified their place in third with 17 points. And Remember, guys, I did predict Ecuador to qualify for the World Cup. I think I predicted them to go through to the playoffs. And they're in third. Remember, the top 4 goes into the World Cup and 5th place goes into the playoffs. And Ecuador, I think they missed the trick with the game against Venezuela. If they had won against Venezuela, it could have been not Venezuela. It was Venezuela they played. Let me just double check. I think it was Venezuela, right? Yeah, it was Venezuela. They lost that game against Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it was Venezuela. Let me yeah. Yeah, they lost to Venezuela 2-1. They lost the trick there. If they had picked up 3 points there, man, Ecuador would have been on 20 points right now. And they would have gotten a 4-point cushion between themselves and Colombia and Uruguay. And that would have been absolutely massive, where in 6 games, you would have only needed about 6 points, 6 to 7 points to make the cut. And that's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Right now, Ecuador need about 10 more points from their remaining 6 games. 10 points from 6 games. I think Ecuador are going back to the World Cup, barring a catastrophic November and the upcoming months. Just want to put that out there. Just got to put it out there, man. But valiant effort. Colombia, I think, missed the trick there. Didn't have the best October month at all. They've been struggling a bit. They've definitely been struggling a bit. But you know who's not struggling? Argentina. 1-0 against Peru. Lautaro Martinez with a header in the 43rd minute. Peru did fight. They did fight. They did miss a penalty. Yoshimar Yotun hit the post. I blasted it over, if I could remember. And they could have gotten a point, but yeah. Look, Peru did give Argentina a good fight. Messi wasn't able to do his thing, work his magic in the game too much. But it doesn't matter how you win it, man. As long as you get the point. It doesn't matter how scrappy they are, or if there's a deflection, like people like to say these days. Oh, it was a deflection. Deflection. So, who cares? It could be an own goal. See what I mean? It could be a goal that should have never been a goal. It's still a win. You see, and that's all that team cares about these days. A win is a win. Big point for Argentina. And with that point, Lionel Scaloni, Lionel Messi, and co, they are in second and they're looking poised to qualify for Qatar without any hiccups. If we go back to the 2018 World Cup table, Argentina was struggling, and I mean struggling. They could have missed out. They qualified on the last day. That's how close CONMEBOL was last time around, but it doesn't look like the top 2 spots are going to be close at all. Brazil and Argentina are going to run away with those, but the 2 spots, 3rd and 4th, are going to be challenged for, and the 5th place in terms of the playoff definitely going to be challenged, because when you look over the other side of the table, where Chile has seen a revival, we're going to talk about them. A revival for Chile in October. 3-0 against Venezuela. Eric Pulgar, 18th minute, header again in at 37th minute. And Ben Brereton, Big Ben Brereton, has been putting them in the back of the net lately. 3-0 against Venezuela. Disappointing result for Venezuela after that win against Ecuador. And quality stuff, man. Quality stuff. Eduardo, I think his name is Eduard Bello. He couldn't do his thing. Eduardo Bello, if I'm not mistaken, couldn't do his thing for Venezuela this time around. But Chile, man. Chile, yeah, great window. Look at them. Chile are 6th with 13 points. 13. All they need, if Chile picks up 2 wins in November, they're back. They're back in contention for Qatar. Back indeed. Back in contention. And we all know I didn't predict Chile to do anything. Most people didn't predict Chile to do a goddamn thing for this World Cup qualifiers at all. Nothing at all. But seems like they could actually do it. Seems so. But big up to everybody in here right about now, man. If I haven't shouted you out yet, that's a shout out for you. And Good win for Chile. We will compare the September and October in just a second. And we have one more game to go through there. Brazil 4, Uruguay 1. This is actually very, very worrying. Very, very worrying for Oscar Tabarez and Uruguay. Not a very good October international break at all. Neymar in the 10th minute. What a goal that was, right? And then Rafinha. Big up to the boy Rafinha with a brace, 18th and 58th minute. And I told Thriller and Zachary and Co. in the Discord server that I don't know if they actually paid me any attention, but Rafinha will not be a Leeds player next summer for sure. I could guarantee that. I'm 100% sure about that. I'm hoping my team, Man City, picks him up with the departure of Raheem Sterling pretty soon. And we could bring in another Brazilian in Rafinha, who is an absolute gem. He's going to cost about 50 mil though. Or more. Probably more. They better start negotiating now. Or else, it's going to cost quite a lot. Gabriel Barbosa in the 83rd minute. But Luis Suarez did score in the 77th minute. And I have a stat for you here. I definitely have a stat for you in terms of that one. I think Suarez was the first person to score a goal on Brazilian soil that ended a run of 9 games without conceding. It has been 9 games in World Cup qualifiers in South America that Brazil did not concede at home. The longest of any team in the history of the tournament breached. Suarez, good free kick, but Edison, I think he saw it late. And yeah, I honestly think, I know Edison is my keeper, but I honestly think any other goalkeeper would have stopped that. If it was Weverton or if it was Alisson Becker, that was saved. And that's my only criticism of Edison. He gets beaten too damn easily, man. Seriously. Even that Salah won the goal. How did Edison get beaten? How? You see what I'm saying? Be too casual at times. He's a brilliant keeper, but he's too casual at times. Just want to put it out there. Just want to put it out there. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to scroll down. We have the entire table right there. And we're going to take a look at each team September compared to October real quick. We won't be taking long. And then we go on to the other confederations. All teams in South America are still in with a shot. All of them. Even Venezuela, right? Just slightly. 6 games, that's 18 points. They could get a maximum of 25. If Venezuela lose their next game, let's say they don't have a good international break in November, that's it. They could no longer qualify for Qatar. It's almost there. Almost there, if not already there. But it's not, because mathematically they could still finish ahead of Ecuador, Colombia, Uruguay, and all the other teams above them, with the exception of Argentina and Brazil. So let's just touch on Venezuela and see what they did in September compared to what they did in October. So 3-1 loss to Argentina, 1-0 loss to Peru, and a 2-1 loss to Paraguay. So they picked up no points at all in September. In October, 3-1 loss to Brazil. They beat Ecuador 2-1 and lost to Chile. So they did have a better international break, but all together is still very bad. 3 points across 6 matches. 3 points out of 18. It is horrible. Venezuela will not qualify for the World Cup. I'm going to call it right now, and I know most of you guys have already called it, right? So we move on to Peru, who are 9th right now. I don't know why I just did that, but I thought I was on my other page. I don't know why I just did that, but oops. Peru. 9th, 11 points, and that was not a good international break for Ricardo Gareca and his boys at all. But let's go back to September. 1-1 against Uruguay, 1-0 against Venezuela, and they lost to Brazil. So 4 points in September, and in October, they only picked up 3 with a 2-0 win against Peru. Chile, lost to Bolivia, which It's unacceptable, but it was in La Paz, even though Bolivia had a red card, and they lost to Argentina. Narrow losses, but nevertheless, not a good international break at all. Not at all. Not at all. They have only picked up 5 points out of a possible 18, which is absolutely poor. Hence the reason why they are 9th in the table. Peru, you got to get your act together. 6 matches left. You could still get a maximum of 29 points. So then it's not all doom and gloom yet for Peru, right? Paraguay, who sacked their manager Eduardo Berizzo, and they're currently on 12 points. I don't know why they pulled the trigger that quick. They had 6 draws and 2 wins. They should have kept with Eduardo. I don't think anybody's going to come in and change their fortunes, in my opinion. I predicted them not to make it, and I don't think they'll make it. In September, lost 2-0 to Ecuador, drew with Colombia 1-1, and defeated Venezuela. So 4 points in September, but their fortunes in October is different. 0-0 against Argentina, which was a big point, and probably they thought they were going to do well, but they lost to Chile and lost to Bolivia. So they picked up a single point after getting 4, in September. So 5 points out of 18. Another poor window by the teams down towards the bottom of the table there, I have to say. Bolivia, stand up, because you were brilliant. You were absolutely brilliant in October. But for their September window, 1-1 draw against Colombia, lost 4-2 against Uruguay, and lost to Argentina. So they only picked up 1 point in September. But in October, they lost 3-0 to Ecuador. But they defeated Peru 1-0 and defeated Paraguay to pick up 6 points, which has been their best international break so far. 6 points. Imagine before October, Bolivia only had 6 points. Now they have 12. They're in 7th. And they're only 4 points off that playoff spot that is occupied by Uruguay. And who knows, man? Anything could happen. As for Chile, stand up as well. One of the better teams in October. But in September, not so good. Brazil 1, Chile 0, Ecuador 0, Chile 0, and Colombia 3, Chile 1. So Chile only picked up a point in September, only scored once against Colombia in a loss. But in October, didn't start too good. They lost to Peru, but they bounced back with 2 big wins against Paraguay, a 2-0 win, and a 3-0 win against Venezuela. Now scoring 5 goals, conceding none across those 2 games, but overall conceded 2 goals. But 6 points there. And in terms of their 2 windows, 7 points across, 18 games, 7 points. Not good, but a lot better than they did, they did a lot better in October than they did in September. So Chile have now moved up 3 points behind Uruguay, 3 points off from the playoff spot. Imagine before those 2 wins, they had 7 points. So you see how quick the window could change, all right? Look, Chile, great October international break. You know who did not have such a great international break? Uruguay. Uruguay did not do well at all. Didn't do well. They did a lot better in September, where they picked up a 1-1 draw against Peru, a 4-2 win against Bolivia, and then a 1-0 win against Ecuador, which meant that they picked up 7 points compared to picking up 1 in October, a 0-0 draw against Colombia. They lost 3-0 to Argentina and got destroyed 4-1 against Brazil. It could have been 10-0 or 10-1 if it wasn't for Muslera. Brazil were peppering the goal. So, look, 7 points in September, 1 point in October, 8 out of 18. Not good. You fail. And I read, I bumped into an article that there's concerns over Oscar Tabarez and the effect he's having on the team at the moment, where the morale in the squad might be a bit low, And who knows, changes could be made. Even though I think he's about 75 years old right now, he can't walk. And it's like they probably want to call time in his career pretty soon. I think they wanted to give him one more World Cup, but let's say in November it doesn't change, because in November they play Argentina and then they have Bolivia in La Paz. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to get easier. It ain't going to get easier at all. But to be fair to them, their remaining games aren't that daunting though. Apart from the Argentina game, they have Bolivia, Paraguay, Venezuela, Peru, and Chile. So I think Uruguay may just squeaking, right? Maybe. So with that being said, we move into Colombia, currently on 16 points as well, and they are in fourth. So they did not have a good international break, picking up 3 draws, right? But what did they do in September comparing to what they did in October? September, 1-1 against Bolivia in La Paz, 1-1 against Paraguay, and a 3-1 against Peru. So they've been the draw kings. So far. You take a look at the table there in terms of draws. For Colombia, they have 7 draws. They have picked up the most draws, and 3 draws. Well, 1 draw. Well, Paraguay has 6. Yeah, I actually didn't see Paraguay there, but they are the draw kings of the Confederation. But in October, as I mentioned, 3 draws. And let me just recap September. 1-1 against Bolivia, 1-1 against Colombia, 3-1 against, not Colombia, Paraguay. I am talking about Colombia. And 3-1 against Chile. So they picked up 5 points in September, and they picked up 3 in October. 0-0 against Uruguay. And this is crazy, right? They didn't concede a single goal, and they didn't score a single goal in October. Concerning, but maybe some positives, because you played Uruguay, you played Brazil, and you played against Ecuador, who are on a upward surge these days. So overall, they picked up another 8 points, which is not great, but still, points on the board is points on the board. And it takes us now to Ecuador. I think they could have done a lot better. Ecuador could have been up there with Argentina if they were a bit more, clinical, or they had more killer instinct going on for them right about now. In September, 2-0 against Paraguay, 0-0 against Chile, and they lost to Uruguay. So they picked up 4 points in September. In October, 3-0 against Bolivia, they lost to Venezuela, and they drew 0-0 to Colombia. So another 8 points. So a lot of teams did pretty similar in terms of across the last 2 windows, right? So they have 17 points. We could still consider them fighting for those spots with Colombia, Uruguay, and now Chile and Bolivia put themselves in the question. But Argentina, man, they have been very good. Unbeaten so far. If you go back to September, 3-1 against Venezuela. The game against Brazil was suspended, and they also beat Bolivia. So they picked up 6 out of 6 points in September. And then in the October break, 0-0 against Paraguay, beat Uruguay 3-0, and beat Peru to pick up 7 points. So 13 out of a possible 15 points. That's what I'm talking about. That's a team that's heading to Qatar. So Argentina, stand up. You're definitely qualifying, where they need about 3 more points to seal that place. 28 points will be enough. We've checked it. We've checked it previously. And it brings us to the top team, Brazil, who dropped points for the first time in World Cup qualifiers, as predicted by my boy Football Pharaoh. So Football Pharaoh, man, you deserve a lot of credit. You predicted Brazil to drop points this international break, and they did so in a 0-0 draw against Colombia. But what did they do in September? 1-0 against Chile, 2-0 against Peru, and in October, well, the game against Argentina, was suspended, postponed. In October, 3-1 against Venezuela, 0-0 against Colombia, and a 4-1 win against Uruguay to also give them, what, 13 points? 13 points out of 15? Similar to Argentina, right? So, yeah. That does it for CONMEBOL in terms of, comparison and everything. What are you guys saying in the chat, man? Who do you think will make it to the World Cup from CONMEBOL? I'm going for Brazil, Argentina. I'm going for Colombia, Uruguay. Ecuador I had coming through from the playoffs. That's who I had coming through to the playoffs. But it seems like Ecuador may want to take a direct spot. But you never know. So, yeah.